Thank you all for joining us here this afternoon. We are here to give you some of the details from the very disturbing incident that occurred last night on the west side of our city. The chief is going to talk after I do about some of the details. Let me first say that we have been in consultation with the District Attorney's Office as well as the New York State Attorney General's Office about this incident as we are undergoing the investigation of all of the allegation and the facts. The incident at issue, we have in the past several years have had numerous complaints about disturbances at an event that gathers on Father's Day in the Skiddy Park area. Yesterday we got several calls and tips to the police saying that there was going to be gunfire and people were talking about shooting up the event. Our police officers went to Skiddy Park and told the people at Skiddy Park that they could not organize there and that they had to move to other places. They did move to other places and they went to James Geddes housing. Shortly around 11 o'clock, an officer was dispatched to 310 Atisco Street in regards to a loud party and a person down on the ground. The first arriving officer observed a large crowd and was unable to locate the person down. The officer noticed and was aware that there were several hundred people gathered in a loud crowd and made requests for additional officers to respond. Contemporaneously, at the same time, 911 was getting calls from people who were requesting police presence, and then there were shots fired in the Stone Court area of the James Geddes housing. Again, at the same time, several 911 calls were received of shots fired in that area as well, and the officer responded on foot to that location. I'm going to now turn it over to the chief to talk about some more of the specifics of this incident as we go forward. Thank you, Chief.
When the officer responded to the location regarding a man down, it was unrelated to the party, and once she got there, she noticed that a loud party was occurring, and as she's conducting her investigation, multiple shots fired rang out. During the course of this incident, the officer did and discharged their weapon. And during the course of the gunfire, two people were struck. A 41-year-old male was struck, and a 31-year-old female was struck. And the 41-year-old male later died from his injuries at Upstate University Medical Hospital. His name is Gary Porter. I know it was earlier reported that his name was something different. That name is an alias, but through his fingerprints and through his Department of Motor Vehicle information, we identify him as Gary Porter. Our officers, when our additional officers responded to the scene in response to the numerous 911 calls for police services regarding the shots fired, when additional officers arrived at the scene, they were met with a hostile crowd. This crowd threw rocks and bottles at the officers while they were present. We were able to secure the area, and the Syracuse Police Department Crime Scene Unit processed the scene for evidence. We recovered numerous articles of evidence from the scene, and we know that Gary Porter was struck at least once, and then we recovered from the scene several different types of shell casings, which would indicate that at least 4 handguns were fired during the exchange of gunfire. Vehicles and some of the surrounding apartment buildings were also struck by the projectiles or by gunfire. As the mayor has said to you already, in cases like this where there's an officer involved shooting, we get the district attorney's office involved right from the beginning. We also, and in certain cases, the state attorney general's office gets involved. Both of those offices have been consulted in this case, and they are also investigating. And it's worth mentioning that I spoke to both the aunt and the father of Gary Porter today. The father is out of town, and he's on his way back into town. When he returns, the two of us will issue a public statement together. At that time, you all will get additional information. At some point, the mayor and I will take questions. I'll let you know when that is, but I just want to caution you that beyond what we've said to you already, there's probably not going to be any additional information that we provide. So please understand that we are in the beginning stages of this investigation, and this is an incident that I know the public has a strong interest in, judging by the people in the room and the way that the public reacted. And so we are responsible for putting out accurate information. We will do it in a timely fashion, but please understand, our investigation will take precedent over anything because we want to make sure that our information is thorough and factual before we release it to the public.